Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, guys, addicted to sports cams. This is it's online. You can see the domain address here. You can go to it and visit it yourself as well. It's a free service and it's publicly available, so you can go and verify these images yourself. They have cameras darted across different locations in Europe, and I understand this might be somewhere in Italy, or maybe not, Allahu Alam. But anyway, it's very interesting. Jeff is a wonderful researcher as well, amongst many other great guys researching this topic, and he's been studying this for a few years now as well. Anyway, I'll just let him get on with it, and you can take it all in.
I became a believer over a year and a half ago. So, over Lake Starnberg, we're going to see over here in the upper right early signs of the plasma. But let's just watch the next frame. It's 5:30 in the morning, but in the next 30 minutes, it's suddenly as bright as the noonday sun. And here we go.
Okay, did you see that? So from 5:30, this is really important, by the way. At 5:30 in the morning, it was dark. Within 30 minutes, this is the sort of piercing brightness that appeared in our skyline, okay, in our atmosphere. Now, with it, you see the cursor over here. That's a celestial object. Now, we postulated in the document that it's a star, a binary star, a small solar system, to put it simply, which has other celestial bodies tailing it, right? So it's a binary system to our sun, okay, which is star, so they're both binary to one another, okay, and it's come from an elliptical orbit back into our system. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. But again, another important part, just so that you understand, you might say, well, why aren't we seeing it? Well, there's a few, many variables. One of which is that they're cloaking it. The other is the sun, seems like the sun's energy is waning. That's another chapter altogether. The 3 days of darkness, part 1, 2, 3, and 4. Certainly study it, verify it, cross-reference the data in it. It's very scientific. It's a physicist who elucidates on the data and the findings so far. So this solar system, it seems like any binary system, it basically runs in a retrograde orbit, which is the opposite to our orbit and to our sun. So just like I've given this analogy a few times now, where I've been asked, why is it that we're not seeing it, and how come only a few people are picking it up. Right now we're seeing it in the southern hemisphere. That's one variable. As it comes closer, it'll become more visible for us. The other variable is that they're trying to cloak it using a solar sun simulating device. Again, the solar sun simulator part 1, 2, 3, and 4 elucidate on that as well, and you've got the physicist's thoughts on that, and it's cross-referenced against data. It's verifiable, so you can basically cross-reference it against NASA's data as well. Now, this celestial body, the other variable is that it runs in a retrograde orbit. So in a retrograde orbit, the example that I gave is, let's imagine ourselves driving on the motorway with our car. Now, if we're doing 70 miles per hour and the car next to us, maybe on our right, which is on maybe the third lane, is driving at 70 miles per hour, it'll tail us, so it'll remain with us. So you'll be able to visualize it, see it, you'll know exactly what car, make, model, everything about that car. But if another car on the opposite lane is going in the opposite direction at 70 miles per hour, then that speed is compounded. It's 70 plus 70, you got 140 miles per hour now. And not only that, it's going to be in your line of view for a moment, right? Because it's going in the opposite direction. So think of the solar system and its celestial bodies doing exactly the same thing. It's going in the opposite direction to us. So not only is it only being seen in the southern hemisphere, not only is its trajectory its orbit in the opposite direction, but also there's many attempts by the elitists to kind of cloak this for as long as they can, up until it becomes almost impossible as it gets it catapults back out on its trajectory to its orbit. Right now, it seems like there's a tug of war going on between the star and our sun, and it seems to be, and again, the data seems to be suggesting that in the 3 days of darkness, we've alluded towards that, the star seems to be draining our sun of its energy, which again maybe perhaps lends into this possibility of the hadith of the 3 days of darkness that would occur. Where the Sahaba radiallahu anhum prompted the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with the only one question that came to their mind, Subhanallah, was that, Ya Rasulullah, what do we do about our salah in the times? Simply because they used to look to the sun and the stages of the sun as it basically traversed the skies and used shadows to determine what time of the day it was for salah. So, I mean, if the sun isn't going to be there and its darkness is going to envelop all of the earth, then how do we calculate the time of the day so that we can read a prayer salah? Subhanallah. So very ajib, and it's possible that that's happening right now. We're seeing again, just like the birth pangs we're seeing on Earth, in terms of the hadith for the landslides that I was referring to. And that you're seeing all these earthquakes, you're seeing volcanic eruptions, and you're seeing sinkholes, which seem to be like an indication of what's to come very soon as this system gets closer. Because I mean, right now there's still that distance. Yet, despite that distance, we've seen also all these earth changes. As it comes closer to us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. I think this is going to be the asbab through which a lot of the hadith laid out in the PDF signs is going to come into fruition. So basically, I just wanted to explain a little about this object and this light that we're seeing right now, which I'm postulating is this star, as it basically enters, passes our atmosphere on its orbit. So you only see it for a brief moment, right? And then watch as we move forward, the light will disappear as well. And I've seen this on many, 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 many webcams.
Almost a nice dark black ball. Let me zoom in on that for you. No spider legs there, right? Now let's watch what happens as this thing approaches us.
Like many people have said that, generally, at least now it's becoming more clearer as it's getting closer, which is worrying to be honest. But back in the past, when Jeff was doing work, a lot of people used to speculate. The naysayers would say that there were spiders on the screen, on the camera screen, because it will refer to some plasma that you'll see the tail of this atmosphere. So it seems like a very um, um, electric atmosphere. He'll allude to that right now, which a lot of people were mistaking for the legs of a spider on the camera
So,
screen.
in the next frame, it mysterious. It's dim again.
Now, did you see that? It's gone. So that star's now left our frame of view, right? So it's moved, right? Which is part of this, which is the center of this mini solar system and its celestial bodies. We're saying there's around about 3 or 4 planets tailing it and 3 moons, satellites, as well as some comet debris, meteorites, which we'll see a lot more of enter our atmosphere. I mean, in fact, we've seen around about 5,000 plus this year, and we're not even come to the close of the year yet. In contrast to maybe in 2006, there was only 500 that entered the atmosphere. So it seems the solar system is drawing in comet debris, dragging it in as it comes into our solar system from the Oort cloud, and then from the Kuiper belt, and then also from the asteroid belt, which is then coming and then catapulting all that comet debris in our direction. You'll notice that the sun, huge, huge meteorites have been hitting our sun. Jupiter's surface, we saw an explosion which was the equivalent to the size of Earth. We saw the atmosphere of, which is on the videos uploaded on the channel. We saw the atmosphere of Venus being literally stripped out of it. So there's magnetic force that's influencing that, that's drawing it, that's pulling it, that's tugging at it, and we're speculating that's exactly, well, it's the same magnetic pull. Some level of that is going to be experienced by us here on Earth.
And look, let's zoom in on this one. The plasma is becoming more obvious and is more electrical in nature.
Literally spraying, just like it did for on Venus that we witnessed by the Secchi satellite images.
As we
on one of the videos that I've uploaded on the channel.
see this round ball with its plasma showing, and now here we go with the next frame. This one. Let's zoom in on this one.
Now, have you noticed it's gone even more dimmer? Subhanallah. So that star seems to, which is dragging these planetary bodies, one of which you see on the right, has gone further away. So you'll probably see at some point, as it's getting darker, as that star is moving further into the solar system on its orbit, past our atmosphere. You'll probably will probably see. I mean, it doesn't get light piercing brightness and then all of a sudden it becomes darker, right? The sun comes out gradually, and it gets lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, and then we get quite a lot of hours of daylight, depending on what hemisphere you're in, right? At least for most of us, we see a lot of daylight, right? And then it gets gradually darker, but you just saw that from darkness you saw extreme light, piercing brightness, caught by the camera, and this celestial body coming into the frame, and then all of a sudden it's getting dimmer now, right? Within like the space of 30
the plasma is so thick, so dense, so charged that it's actually blocking light from reaching the Earth, and that's what we're seeing here. Please watch this on a full HD screen. Don't just watch this on your cell phone. You need to see the electricity coming off the legs on this thing, okay? Watch this in the highest definition possible. Look at this electrical legs arcing off this thing. That is just amazing. Like I've been saying, it is plasma. And look at the direction of these legs are falling. It's inbound. It's coming straight at us. The tail is behind us. Wow. It's going to change shape as it continues to approach. Next, let's watch the next frame. It's gone, right? No more spider. And it's suddenly a little dim again. And why is it that every time this thing shows up, and then here comes the real sun, right? With the real sunrise, and it actually gets light? I don't know, I got some theories why it suddenly gets bright. Perhaps Nibiru is blocking the Nemesis, its sun, during this time, and it moves out of the way, and then the Nemesis light hits the Earth in this over Germany. Germany certainly gets the greatest views of this thing. So look at that. I certainly wish this would have been in full view of the camera, man. That would have been absolutely freaky. Look how big this thing would have been, okay? This thing would have taken up, the size of this thing would have been really big. Look at this part.
I'll leave a link to this particular page, the site that he's referencing, inshallah, in the description box.
Part of the circle. Wow, maybe one day it'll come straight in full view. Okay, let's watch another one. There's another camera view. Now watch this planet. This probably it's hard to tell if it's Nibiru or not. I usually say it's Nibiru because I see more plasma and it's moving very fast. But if it stays in place for any length of time, it seems to not be Nibiru. It's probably one of the slower orbiting planets. So let's watch. Spot on lens. Well, it just moved. Something stuck in a spider web? Well, it's gone, so how'd that suddenly disappear, right? So let's watch that again. It's only there for, starts at 11:40, makes appearance at 11:50, moves a little bit, and absolutely disappears. This is again over Germany. It's up on the roof. Not a whole lot of opportunity for spider webs on the very, very roof. It would have been directly in front of the lens. So, anyways, let's zoom in on that one again. Let's take our time with that. So here we go. It shows up at 11:40. Suddenly appears. It moves around and it disappears. So here's a good shot of it. Actually, let's zoom in on that just a little bit. What could that possibly be? Well, it could only be a planet. Next, I thought this was pretty impressive. This camera. Now, see this nice, round, shadowy planet and this one over here. Now keep your eyes focused on this as we run the time lapse, going forward in time. Drawing more into focus. Keep in mind, what is that? That looks familiar. Didn't we just see that earlier?
We did, mashallah.
Spider?
You see that planet with the plasma? We've seen it on another website in another location in a different country. Exactly the same thing. That was on the right hand corner. This is basically in the middle of the screen somewhere, and you can see all the atmosphere of that planet, or whatever gas it's basically carrying, tailing that particular planet.
Lens? Could be. Well, let's keep watching. As a matter of fact, let's see when the side information tells us anything about how this thing is mounted on the camera. Nope. Anyways, let's keep going and watch this thing orbit. By the way, if it was a spider on the lens, it would be clear and distinct and right up in your face, very clearly seeing all its 8 legs. It wouldn't be perfectly round in its center either. But let's watch this thing orbit. Did you see that? Look at that thing. I believe this is one of the moons on this object, because look how it orbits it. We'll keep going. There we go. Now we can see the shadow here on the camera. This is the best part. Now we get to watch this thing orbit. Okay, no spider legs there, right? Now watch this thing move. It's not an object. See, it just disappeared. And I believe it disappears because it's orbiting this object. So this must be one of the moons. Helion, Arbota. This thing, Helion, is a gas giant. Did you see that? Look at this thing orbit. That's in a crazy looking orbit too. Something stuck on a spider web? Nope, can't be. Because it disappears. And where are the spider legs now? Sorry for the internet connection's a little slow. And look at that. And then you can see the chemtrail planes off to the rescue here. Still don't think this is visible with naked eye because of it's not very contrasted. It may have been a little more visible when it's absolutely dark, as you could see it on the camera for that one moment if you hadn't looked at the sky. Anyways, that's all I got for now. We can watch a few more frames of this. So in case you thought that was a spot lens, no. Let's go back in time. Go to the link in the description. Watch this yourself.
Okay, guys. I'll upload this, inshallah. Like I said, the date is coming in hard and fast now. You know, I'm getting quite overwhelmed by it. I'm spending like less time at work, mashallah, and just trying to keep speed with this because my intuition tells me it's really important that I do and that I don't let go of it, you know. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Anyway, jazakallahu khairan wa ahsanul jazaa for your time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.